A very good evening and welcome to today's live session. So this is Gayatri here. As you all know, today's session we are starting the preparation for the IBPS PO examination that's coming up. Yes, the IBPO notification is out. I'm sure all of you are aware of that, and those of you who are planning to take up this examination, please start please start completing your application. I always say this, never wait for the last minute to fill in the application form. Keep everything ready beforehand and try to complete the application process. Now that it is open, please finish it as soon as possible. And as I always say, please take up the exams that are given to you. Very, very important. Practice is very, very important to crack such examinations. So do take up the papers that are given to you regularly and attend the live sessions regularly. Okay. So if you look at the pattern of IBPS PO examination, when it comes to quantitative and reasoning ability section, you have 35 questions from quants, 20 minutes to answer that. Similarly for reasoning also you have 35 questions, 20 minutes to answer that. So you have to be really fast with your calculation. And so what does that mean? You have to practice. Yes, you have to answer 35 questions in 20 minutes. Most of the time you might not be able to answer all the questions, but the key here is to choose the questions wisely. Choose the questions wisely and do the question with speed and accuracy. Okay. So on that note, let's start. So now all of you want to know what are the questions that I'm going to be discussing today. So what I've done is I've taken few questions that has been asked in the previous IBPS PO prelims paper, that is the 2016 and the 2017 paper, and today we are going to be doing few questions from that. Okay, I'm going to be taking up questions asked in last year IBPS PO examination, prelims examination, that is the year 2017 and 2016. So now let's start. Let us look at the questions chosen for today's session. Let me share my screen. So this is the first question for today's session. This question was asked in the IBPS PO prelims 2016 paper. So let's look at this question. Find the probability that a number from 1 to 300 is divisible by 3 or 7. Yes, so a lot of you are giving me the answer. Some of you are saying the answer is 2, some of you say it is 3, some of you say it is 5. So I'm getting different answers. So let me solve it for you. What is given here? Numbers between 1 to 300 that are divisible by 3 or 7. Okay. Now, how many multiples of 3 are there from 1 to 300? Multiples of 3 from 1 to 300, totally there are 100 multiples, correct? 100 into 3 is 300. So multiples of 3 till 300, I have 100 multiples of 3. Now, how many multiples of 7 do I have till 300? See, what is 42 into 7? 40 into 7, you know, is 280. 42 into 7 is going to be 294. So how many multiples of 7 do I have which are equal to or less than 300? I have 42 multiples of 7, right? Now, what are they asking us in the question? They are asking, find the probability that a number from 1 to 300 is divisible by 3 or 7. So, now this is the number of multiples of 3, this is the number of multiples of 7. So, from this I have to subtract the multiples of 3 and 7 because I just need the number of multiples of 3 or 7. Right, or the numbers which are divisible by either 3 or 7. So, how many numbers are divisible by both 3 and 7? That is the numbers which are divisible by 21, correct? All the numbers which are divisible by 21 are multiples of 3 and 7. Now, how many numbers will be there like that? See, you know 21 into 14, right? What is 21 into 14 again? 294. So, you have 14 such numbers, right, which are divisible by 3 and 7. So, I have to remove these 14 numbers. Okay. So, what are the total multiples of 3 and 7 I have? I have 100 multiples of 3, 42 multiples of 7, and I have 14 numbers which are multiples of 3 and 7. So, I have to subtract this 14 from this total. And that will be the number of multiples that I require. That is nothing but 100 plus 100 plus 28, that is 128. So, we will have 128 such numbers which are multiples of either 3 or 7. So, what is the answer that you are looking at, or they are asking us the probability, right? Out of the total 300 numbers, 128 numbers are divisible by either 3 or 7. So the probability that we are looking at is nothing but 128 divided by 300, or that is equal to, in both of these 4 will go, right? So this will be 32 divided by 75. So the correct answer is option 2, 32 divided by 75. Clear? So I hope it is clear. See what did we do? How many multiples of 3 are there? You have totally 1 to 300, right? See, 100 into 3 is 300. So totally I have 100 multiples of 3 till when I consider till 1 to 300. Yes. Similarly, when I look at the multiples of 7, okay, I know 42 into 7 is 294. So I have 42 multiples of 7 till 300. Now I have to, now what is the total number of multiples of 3 and 7 that we have till 300? That is nothing but 100 plus 42, that is 142. Now in the question they are asking us, find the numbers which are divisible either by 3 or 7. So from this 142 numbers, I have to subtract the numbers which are divisible by 3 and 7. So how many such numbers will be there? Numbers which are multiples of 21 will be divisible by both 3 and 7. I just find that out, that is 14. So 142 minus 14, that is equal to 128. So the required probability is nothing but 128 divided by 300, that is 32 by 75. Clear? Next question. See, in the question, take it as C withdrew his investment. Okay, now let me read the question for you. A, B and C started a business with their investments in the ratio 1:2:4. After the 6th month, A invested half the amount more as before and B invested the same amount as before while C withdrew his investment. Find the ratio of their profits at the end of the year. A lot of you are saying the answer is 5:12:8. Some of you say it is 5:12:10. Okay, let us start solving it. Very easy question, right? ABC started a business with their investments in the ratio 1:2:4. After 6 months, A invested half the amount more as before. So let me first assume that A has invested X rupees, B has invested 2X rupees and C has invested 4X rupees, right? Now what is happening? For the first 6 months, right, what is the amount invested by A? For the first 6 months, A has invested X rupees. Now, for the next 6 months, what has A done? A has invested half more than as before, right? Half more than as before means earlier if A has invested X rupees, now A has invested X plus 1/2X, or that is 3/2X. So much rupees has been invested by A in the next 6 months. See, for the first 6 months, A has invested X rupees. Now, for the next 6 months, other than this X, A has also invested half X. So, totally for the next 6 months, A has invested 3/2X rupees. Yes, so this is the product of investment into the period of investment for A. Now, similarly, what is the product of investment and period of investment for B? See, what has B done? For the first 6 months, B has invested 2X rupees, right? And then for the next 6 months, what did B do? He invested the same amount as before. That means, if B had invested 2X rupees for the first 6 months, for the next 6 months, he has invested 2X plus 2X or 4X rupees, right? For the next 6 months, B has invested 4X rupees. Now, coming to C, what did C do? C has invested 4X rupees for the first 6 months, and for the next 6 months he has withdrawn the complete amount. So for the next 6 months he has not invested anything. So why have I put ratios here? See, we know that when we are asked to find the ratio of profits between the partners in a business, what do? We take into consideration the amount that each person has invested into the period for which the investment has been done. We find that out and then we take the ratio of this, right? In this ratio only the profit will be split between them. So here what do you get? You have 6X plus, again this will be 3. So you have 6X plus 9X, right? That is 15X. 15X is to, here you will have 12 plus 20, that is 36X is to 24X. Or I can say that the profit will be split between them in the ratio 15 is to 36 is to 24. Or if you simplify this, what do we get? We get 5 is to 12 is to 8, which is option 3. Okay. Yes. See, these are very easy, no? Somebody is asking me from where have we taken these questions. These questions are from the last 2 years prelims paper, okay? IBPS PO 2016 and 2017 paper, right? So, I have chosen these questions so that you get an idea of the type of questions that you can expect in the prelims examination. Now, next one. The average marks in science subject of a class of 20 students is 68. If the marks of 2 students were misread as 48 and 65 of the actual marks 72 and 61 respectively, then what would be the correct average? Now, when you have such questions, do not solve it in the normal method. It's going to be time consuming. Use the equal distribution method. You will get the answer really fast. Okay. So, how do you solve this? See, I know the normal method in which you will do is find out the total marks now with the given marks, find out the total marks otherwise, right, with the actual marks, then find out the average and all that. Don't use that method. Let us just use the equal distribution concept here and get the answer. How will we do it? See, what is the marks of the 2 students? Actual marks was, see, the actual marks of the 2 students is nothing but 72 and 61. So, what is the sum of the actual marks? 72 plus 61, that is 133, right? Now, what is the marks that has been entered? The entered marks, right? That is nothing but 48 plus 65, that is equal to 113. So, basically what has happened? What is the difference between these two? It is nothing but 20, right? So, actually the marks, when you enter the actual marks, the total marks had to be X. Let us take X, right? Now, if I had given the actual marks for these 2 students, the sum of the marks of all the students has to be X. Now, because I made a mistake while entering the marks, now what has happened? The sum has become X minus 20. Basically, I have entered less marks for these 2 students, right? Actually, it had to be 133, but I have entered only 113. So, what is happening? There is a decrease in the total marks by 20. So, what should we do? We have to add 20, right, to this to get the actual answer. So, now if I have to add this 20, what am I doing when it comes to the average? I have 20 students, right? So, this 20 marks I have to equally distribute it among students. What is average? Average is nothing but equal distribution. So, what do? This 20 marks we distribute it equally among the students. That means each student should get how much marks? 1 mark, right? So, each student's mark will increase by 1. Now, mark in the sense each student's average mark will get increased by 1, correct? Or what will the average now become? It will become 68 plus 1, that is equal to 69. Correct answer is option 2. Okay. So, actually when you solve this question in the examination, this is the only step that you should be doing, right? In the actual case, the average will be the total marks of both the students is going to be 133, but we have only entered 113. So, the deviation that has happened here is 20, right? That is 20 is less. So, this 20 marks has to be added to the group, or this 20 marks has to be equally distributed among these 20 students. So, how do I do it? I increase the mark of each student by 1, right? Because I am using the concept of equal distribution. So, my average will also increase by 1, or it will become 69. Clear? Yes. All of you got 69? Good. Let's look at the next question. 24, 28, 19, 35, 10. Question mark. What is the logic that is followed here? See, 24 plus 2 squared is 28. Correct? Now, next 28 minus 3 squared, right, is 19. And 19 plus 4 squared is 35. 35 minus 5 squared is 10. So, next will be 10 plus 6 squared. So, 10 plus 6 squared is 36, or the answer we are looking at is 46. Option 4. Yes. Very easy question, no? Next one. In IBPS PO, generally you get questions on equations. So, in the last 2 years, we have seen around 4 to 5 questions on from this topic, equations. Again, see, when it comes to these exams, you can never predict and say that for sure equation will come. There are some years when equations doesn't come at all. So, generally it's an important topic. In most of the papers, you see questions on equations. So, it's your luck whether you get a question or not, because pattern, we can never decide anything. See here, both the signs are minus and plus. So directly by seeing, how can you say it is cannot be determined? So everybody is giving me the answer as E. How come? Okay, some of you say it is D, some of you say it is B. See, I tell you that for a lot of questions on equations, you can use the sign table, right? Because for some cases, directly by looking at the sign table, you will be able to say whether the answers cannot be determined or not. But here for this particular question, right, what is the sign that is used? Minus plus. No, yeah, minus plus, right? So both the roots are going to be positive. So you will have to find out the roots to check which is greater or lesser, yeah, to find the relationship basically. So how will you do this? The first equation that we have is 3x squared minus 22x plus 7 is equal to 0. So I need to find out two numbers whose product is 21 and whose sum is 7 3s are 21, whose product is 21 and whose sum is 22. So which are the two numbers whose product is 21 and the sum will be 22? The two numbers has to be 21 and 1. Okay. Now, if these are the two numbers, now here I have the coefficient of x square is 3. So the roots that I am looking at is nothing but 21 by 3, 1 by 3. What will be the sign of the roots? The sign of the roots, I get it from the sign table, right? If this is, the symbol before bx, right, is negative and the symbol before c is positive, then both the roots are going to be positive. So the roots that I am looking at is 21 by 3 and 1 by 3, that is nothing but 7, 1 by 3. These are the roots that I am looking at. So for all those of you who are new to this session, I am sure that you might have, you might be thinking, what is this table that I am drawing? This is called as the sign table. This is a shortcut method that we use to find out the roots of quadratic equation. So please go back home and refer to our advanced and additional questions in the portal. You will be able to find out how this method is done. Okay. So here you have 7 and 1 by 3 as the roots. Now let us look at the next equation, y squared minus 15y plus 16, that is equal to 0. Again you have two numbers whose product is 16 and the sum of the two numbers is 15. So what are the two numbers going to be? 56, right? Sorry. I have to find out two numbers whose product is 56 and the sum is 15. So the two numbers are going to be 8 and 7. 7 8s are 15 and 8 plus 7. 7 8s are 56 and 8 plus 7 is 15. So these are the two numbers that I am looking at. Here the coefficient of y squared is 1. So the roots that I am looking at is 8 and 7. Again using the sign table, I can say both of these roots are positive. So what is the relationship between x and y now? So this is the value of x, right, and this is the value of y. So I can say that y is greater than or equal to x. So that is the answer that we are looking at, which is option 4. See, signs play a major role when solving such questions is that for some cases, no, you can directly say that the answer will be cannot be determined. So that's why some of you gave me the answer in between suddenly as cannot be determined. Depending on the signs that come here for a few equations, you will be able to say just by looking at the question that the answer will be can't be determined. Let's say if you get this case, right, if you have an equation where the coefficient, if it is of this form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, you have an equation like this, and you have an equation, let us say py squared minus qy plus r is equal to 0. Now when you find out the roots of these two equations, definitely the roots of this equation, both the roots are going to be negative, and definitely both the roots of this equation is going to be positive. So for sure I can say that y will be greater than x, right? So there will be some cases like this where you can directly say what the answer will be. That's what I was trying to say. Next one. Yes, now this is a very easy question. Again, this question was asked in which paper? 2016 prelims. Okay, this was also part of the 2016 prelims paper. These are all mark scoring questions. You should never leave such questions and you should see to it that you get them correct. Now what is here? X minus root of 169 is equal to 0, or I can directly say x is equal to root of 169. What is root of 169? It is 13, right? Now next equation I have y squared is equal to 169, or y is equal to plus or minus 13. So here what is the answer that we get? We know for sure that x is greater than or equal to y. So this is your answer, that is option B. Root of 169 you know is 13, no? It can't change. It is positive always, right? Now y squared is equal to 169 means y is plus or minus 13. So y is either plus 13 or minus 13. So in this case, if I consider these two, right, I can say x is equal to y. If I consider these two, I can say x is greater than y. So my answer is x is greater than or equal to y. Yes, this is a very easy question. You should not be making mistake. See, if you make a mistake here, that means you are making a very silly mistake. It's a careless mistake. Okay. Next question. So the next question is on approximations. So how do you solve this? See, when you have questions on approximations, approximate to the closest value and find the answer faster, right? So you have 265 here. So 265 here, 39.95. You can take it as 40%, correct? Because you can approximate and get the answer. Now, if you have 40%, again, 40%, how can I write it? I can write it in terms of fractions as 2 by 5. See, when you have questions on simplifications or approximations, wherever percentages are involved, many times converting these percentages into fractions will help us solve the question faster. So here, this 40%, I am taking it as fraction 2 by 5. Now again, this 35.2, take it as 35%. Now here I have 178. Now this 178, it is easier if I take it as 180, right? Because let us, anyway you are going to approximate, so let us take it as 180 so that we can calculate faster. Now again, what is 35% in terms of fractions? See, 35% is nothing but 35 by 100, correct? Or that is nothing but 7 by 20. So I am going to write this 35% as 7 by 20. So 7 by 20 into 180, that is equal to half, that is 50%, right, is nothing but half of some value x plus x by 100 into 80, right? They are saying, see, this question mark, I am going to take this as x. What is 50% in terms of fractions? Half. That's what I have written here. So here you have x by 100 of 80, or this is nothing but x into 80 by 100, right? Or this is 4 by 5. So now just simplify this. What will you get? Here you have 53, correct? 53 into 2, that is 106, plus again here you will have 180 divided by 20 is 9. So 7 9s are 63. That is equal to, here you have x into half plus 4 by 5. So what is half plus 4 by 5? Half plus 4 by 5 is nothing but 5 plus 8, that is 13 by 10, right? You can make this denominator common, make it as 10. So you will have 5 plus 8, that is 13. Or I can say 106 plus 63, that is 169 is equal to x into 13 by 10. Now you know 13 squared is 169. So if you cancel it out, you will get a 13 here, or I can say x is equal to 130. So the answer that we are looking at here is option 3, that is 130. Yes? See, depending on the options that is given, you can approximate the values in the question. Okay, if the options are too close, then it's very difficult for us to approximate. But if the options are fairly spaced far away from each other, then you can approximate and solve. So the answer for this is option 3, 130. So now the next, this question was asked in the last year IBPS paper, IBPS 2017 paper. Yes, now let us look at this question. What is given here? Ramesh has 20% savings with him from his monthly salary. If his expenditure on clothing is 25% of the overall expenditure and his total expenditure except clothing is 3,600, then find his saving. So let us assume that the salary of Ramesh is X. Now if Ramesh's salary is X, what is his savings? He is saving 20% of his salary, or he is saying 0.2x. Now his expenditure on clothing is 25% of the overall expenditure. So if he is saving 20% on clothing, what is his expenses? His expenses is nothing but 1x minus 0.2x, or he is basically using 80% of his salary for expenditure. Out of this 80% of his salary for expenditure, how much is he spending on clothing? He is spending 25% of this for clothing, right? Now, how much will that account to? So I can say that for clothing, he is spending 20%, 25% of 0.8x is nothing but 1/4 of 0.8x, right? Or that is again equal to 0.2x. So for clothing, from the total salary x, he is spending so much. right? 0.2x he is spending on clothing. Now what have they given? They have given that his expenditure other than clothing accounts to 3,600 rupees, or this 0.8 minus 0.2x, right? See, 0.8x minus 0.2x, that is the 0.6x is equal to 3,600. Now what should you find out? You have to find out a saving. You have to find out what is 0.2x. So that will be nothing but 3,600 divided by 3. It is 1,200. Option 4, right? So 60% of his salary accounts to 3,600 rupees. What is 20% of his salary? That is nothing but 1,200. That is how you find out. Clear? Right? The easier way, another easy way in which you can approach this question is, instead of taking it as x, take it as 100. Okay, if you say his total salary is 100, what is his total savings? His savings is nothing but 20, right? Out of 100 rupees, he is saving 20 rupees. So what will be his expenses? His expenses will be 80 rupees. Out of this 80 rupees, what is he doing? He is spending 25% on clothing. That is, for clothing he is spending 25% of 80, that is 20 rupees. So what is his remaining expenditure? His remaining expenditure is 60 rupees. Now this 60 is accounting to 3,600. So what does 20 account to? Same logic, right? You will get the same answer. See, now if you are using this method, okay, his total salary is x rupees. Out of this he is saving 20% of x. So what is 20% of x? 0.2x. Now if he is saving so much from his salary, what is his expenses? His expenses is nothing but x minus 0.2x, that is 0.8x, or 80% of his salary is his expenses. Now you needn't write all these steps in the examination, all you can do it in your mind, right? 20% I save means 80% I am giving as using as expenditure. So directly you can say his expenditure is 80% of his salary. Out of this 80% of his expenses, 25% he is spending on clothing, means 20% of his salary, right? That is, out of this 80%, 1/4 of that he is spending on clothing, or I can say 0.2x, or 20% of his salary he is spending on clothing. So what is his what is the money that he is using for his remaining expenses? It is nothing but 0.8x minus 0.2x, that is 0.6x, or 60% of his salary. Now I know 60% of his salary is 3,600. So what is 20% of his salary? That is nothing but 3,600 into 20 by 60, or 3,600 by 3, directly you can say, right? That is 1,200. Yeah, it will be very easy if you do it with 100. This is a far more easier way to solve. Next. Again, a very easy question was asked in IBPS PO Prelims 2017. Such questions, if it comes in the examination, be happy and see to it that you get it correct. And you will be able to solve it just like that in less than 10 seconds. Now, a boat covers 18 kilometers downstream in 3 hours. If the speed of the current is 1/3 of its downstream speed, in what time will it cover a distance of 100 kilometers upstream? So let us assume that the speed of the boat in still water, let that be u, and the speed of the current be v. Okay, what is given here? For traveling 18 kilometers downstream, right? Downstream means the speed will add, right? According to the concept of boats and streams, if we are traveling downstream, the net speed will be u plus v, that is the speed of the boat plus the speed of the current. So 18 divided by u plus v, this is given as 3, or I can say u plus v, that is equal to 18 by 3, which is equal to 6. So this is the speed downstream. Okay, now what have they given here? If the speed of the current is 1/3 of the downstream speed, so 1/3 of the downstream speed means what is the speed of the current? Speed of the current is nothing but 1/3 into 6, that is equal to 2 kilometers per hour. So what is the speed of the boat? In still water, it is nothing but 6 minus 2, that is equal to 4 kilometers per hour. Now what is the question? In what time will it cover a distance of 100 kilometers upstream? So if it is going upstream, the net speed is nothing but u minus v. So you have 100 u minus v, which is equal to 100 divided by 4 minus 2, that is 100 by 2, which is equal to 50 hours. So it will take 50 hours to go upstream, a distance of 100 kilometers. Next one. Now this question, fairly easy one. If you actually read this question, it's very easy, right? So sometimes we have this preconceived notion, if we see questions on mixtures or allegations, we suddenly get scared. So at times you can also get such easy questions. Okay, what is given here? A mixture of milk and water in a jar contains 28 liters of milk and 8 liters of water. X liters of milk and X liters of water are mixed to form a mixture. If 40% of the new mixture is 20 liters, then find the value of X. So earlier, how much milk, amount of mixture was there? Earlier 28 plus 8 or 36 liters of the mixture was there. Now I am adding X liters of milk and X liters of water to it. Now what are they saying? 40% of the new mixture is equal to 20 liters. So if 40% is equal to 20 liters, how much does 100% equal to, or what am I trying to find out? I am trying to find out totally how much mixture is there, right? That is nothing but 100 into 20 by 40 or 100 divided by 2, that is 50 liters. So totally there are 50 liters of mixture with me. Now out of this 50 liters, 40% means 20 liters. Okay. Now earlier how much was there? Earlier there was 36 liter. Now I have 50 liters. So extra there is 14 liters. Now how did this 14 liters come? I added X liter of milk and I added X liter of water, right? So how much milk and water I added? 14 by 2. So I have added 7 liters of milk and 7 liters of water. So the answer is option 1, 7. Next, sum of the lengths of two trains A and B is 660. The ratio of the speeds of A and B is 5:8. Ratio between the time to cross an electric pole by A and B is 4:3. Find the difference in the length of the two trains. Okay, so let us solve this. See, sum of lengths of two trains A and B is 660. So length of train A plus length of train B, that is equal to 660. The ratio of speeds of A and B is 5:8. So let me assume that the speed of train A, okay, and speed of train B, let us take it as 5x and 8x respectively. Now ratio between the time to cross an electric pole by A and B is 4:3. So the time taken by A and the time taken by B to cross an electric pole, let us take it as 4y and 3y respectively. Now what is the length of the train, or see what is length of the train? See, time taken to cross a pole, right? Now to cross a pole, the distance travelled by the train is nothing but the length of the train, correct? Because the pole is like a point, right? Now there is a train here. This train has to completely cross this pole, means it has to cross the distance of the train itself or the length of the train itself. That's what it has to cross, right? Basically this point has to come here and this point has to come here, right? So now I can say that, so what is this? See this length, right? This length of this train A is nothing but the distance that is travelled by train A to cross the pole, or the length of the train B is nothing but the distance that is travelled by the train to cross this pole again, right? So what is the distance that is travelled by the train to cross the pole? Let us take the train A, okay? The distance travelled by the train A to cross the pole is nothing but 5x into 4y, right? Now the distance travelled by the train B to cross the pole is nothing but 8x into 3y. Basically I am doing the product of the speed into the time, right? Product of speed into time will give me the distance. But here I know the distance that is travelled by each of this train is nothing but the length of the train itself. What does this represent? This represents the distance that is travelled by train A, or the length of the train A, which is nothing but the length of the train A, correct? This represents the distance that is travelled by the train B to cross the pole, which is nothing but the length of the train B. We already know the sum of these two is equal to 660, or what can I say? I can say 5 4s are, that is 20, right? 20xy plus 24xy, that is equal to 660, or we can say 44xy is equal to 660, or xy is equal to 660 divided by 44, that is 15. Now what are they asking us in the question? Find the difference between the length of the two trains. So you have to find out difference between the length of the two trains, right? Now see, what is the length of train A? Length of train A is nothing but 20xy. Length of train B is nothing but 24xy. So what is the difference between the length of the two trains? It is nothing but LB minus LA, right? Because here length of the train B seems to be greater. So 24xy minus 20xy, or I have to find out what is the value of 4xy. Here I know xy is already 15. So 4 into 15, which is equal to 60. That is the answer that we are looking at. That is option 2. Clear? Clear, no? Let's look at the next question. S1 is a series of 4 consecutive even numbers. If the sum of the reciprocal of the first two numbers of S1 is 11 by 60, then what is the reciprocal of the third highest number of S1? So what is given in this question? We have 4 consecutive even numbers, and they are saying that the reciprocal of the first two numbers is 11 by 60. We have to find out the third highest number of this series. Now, what is the general form in which you will write the numbers? The numbers will be x, x plus 2, x plus 4 and x plus 6, right? This is how you would approach this question normally. Now, what are they are telling that when you are looking at the first two numbers in the series, the reciprocal of these two numbers, if you add that, the answer that you get is equal to 11 by 60. Now they are asking us to find out the reciprocal of the third highest number of S1. So normally how would you approach this? From here you find out the value of x. After you get the value of x, what is the value that they are asking? They are asking you for the reciprocal of the third highest number. So what is the third highest number in this series? See, this is going to be your highest number, this is going to be your second highest number, and this is going to be your third highest number. So you have to find out the value of 1 by x plus 2. So this is what is asked in the question. Now this is not the right way in which you would approach this question in the examination. We don't have that much time to solve these questions, right? So this question you should be able to give the answer in less than 10 seconds because the options here are given in such a way. Yes, you can eliminate the option and arrive at the answer faster. Now let us look at the options. See, they are talking about even numbers. So if a number is 18, right, what is the reciprocal of this even number? It is nothing but 1 by 18. If you have a number 16, the reciprocal of this number is 1 by 16. Now look at the options that are there here. What are the options? You have 2 by 13. Is this an even number? Is 13 an even number? No. So this is not a reciprocal of an even number. Similarly, this is also not the reciprocal of an even number. This is also not the reciprocal of an even number. So right away, when you look at this question, you can eliminate these 3 options. Now you are left with only 2 options. That is option 2, which is 1 by 14, and option 5, which is none of these. So we have to choose between these 2 options and see which is the correct answer. Now let us look at this option 1 by 14. So if 1 by 14 is going to be your right answer, then what is 1 by 14? 1 by 14 is nothing but 1 by x plus 2, correct? It is the third largest number in the group. So if 14 is the third largest number, then what will be the other 2 larger numbers? 16 and 18, and the smallest number has to be 12, right? So this has to be the series if this is your answer. Now if this is the case, what is the sum of the first 2 numbers in the series? It is nothing but 1 by 12 plus 1 by 14. Now when you add this, this is not equal to 11 by 60. So this option is also eliminated and your answer is going to be none of these. Okay. Now actually let us just think what would be the correct answer that will come here. See, assume if we had an option 1 by 12. Yes, if you had an option 1 by 12, then what will you get? You will get that 12 is the third largest number, then you will followed by 14 and 16, and the number before that is going to be 10. So this is going to be the exact series that we are looking for. Okay. In this case, what would be your sum of the first 2 numbers in the series? It is nothing but 1 by 10 plus 1 by 12, which is equal to 11 by 60. So this condition is also satisfied. So this was the actual series that we were looking for, and 12 was the number that we are looking for. So the actual answer that should have come in the option is 1 by 12. If 1 by 12 was there, then that would have been the correct answer. But this is not actually required to do it in the examination, right? In the examination, you just have to mark which is the correct answer, and we can move on to the next question. See, this question is a bit tricky here because they are first talking about the sum of reciprocal of the first 2 numbers, and then they ask you for the third highest number. So immediately we might get confused which is the third highest, right? Immediately a lot of us, since one of the option is there as 1 by 14 also, we might end up choosing this as the answer. Don't do that, check correctly. Okay. So I would say it's a bit tricky because in that when you're actually doing it in the examination, you might mark 2 as the answer. Okay, just to be careful. So here they are asking for the third highest number, which is actually if you look at the series, it is 12. This is the actual series that we are looking for, but if we take option 2 as the answer, then this will be the series that we get, but here the first condition will not be satisfied. The reciprocal of the first two numbers and their sum is going to be 11 by 60. That won't be true here. So the correct answer for this question is going to be none of these. Now this one is a very, very easy one, question on approximation. You can do this in your mind. You needn't even write this down in a paper and solve. See, 24.97% of 84.01. Take this as 25%, take this as 84 and take this as 7. So I have 84 divided by 4, which is 21. 21 divided by 7, nothing but 3. So my answer is option 1. So how do we do it? See, you have 84 into 25%. What is 25% in terms of fractions? It is nothing but 1 by 4. What is 84 by 4? 84 by 4 is 21. Now I do 21 by 7, which is equal to 3. Very easy question. Again, this was part of the 2017 paper, 2017 IBPS PO Prelims. Next question. Alright, so how do you solve this? Root of 3099.985 divided by 62 plus 14. So you take it as, approximate it again. This is nothing but 3100 divided by 62 plus this is 14, right? Now what is 3100 divided by 62? And then just add 14 to it and you will get the answer. What is the answer that all of you are getting? 3100 by 62 is nothing but 50, correct? So 50 plus 14, or that is equal to root of 64, which is equal to 8. Option 2. Yes. Next question. Let us move on to the question on data interpretation now. Right. So look at this question. The total number of hats sold by A and B together on Wednesday is how much percentage more than the number of hats sold by A and B together on Tuesday? A and B together on Wednesday. So how much is A and B selling together on Wednesday? On Wednesday they are selling 64 plus 48, that is 112 hats they are selling on Wednesday, A and B put together. Now on Tuesday, how much are they selling? On Tuesday they are selling 60 plus 36, or totally they are selling 96 hats. Now what is the percentage that we need? 112 minus 96 by 96 into 100. They are asking by what percentage is the number of hats sold on Wednesday greater than the number of hats sold on Tuesday. So it should be line graph, no? Yeah, it should be line graph. So here the answer that you get is nothing but 16 2 by 3 percentage. That is option 4. Next one. A sold 80% defective hats on Thursday and B sold 75% defective hats on the same day. Find the number of hats sold by A and B on Thursday that are not defective. So on Thursday A will sell 20% of good hats, right? B again will sell 25% of good hats. So you have to find out the number of hats sold by A and B that are not defective on Thursday. So how many hats will A sell which are not defective? That is 20% of 60. So what is 20% of 60? That is nothing but 12. How many hats will B sell on Thursday which are not defective? Out of 52, B will sell 25% which are not defective. That is 52 divided by 4. That is 13 hats B will sell which are not defective. So put together 12 plus 13, that is equal to 25. Answer option 1. Next one. What is the difference between the number of hats sold on Monday and Wednesday by B to the number of hats sold on Friday by both A and B together? Again a very easy question. See, on Monday and Wednesday put together how many hats are sold? Monday and Wednesday by B. So you have B is here, Monday and Wednesday you have 34 plus 48, right? Monday and Wednesday B will sell 34 plus 48, that is 82 hats. Then if you look at A, the number of hats sold on Friday by both A and B put together. So A and B on Friday, how much is that on Friday? They will sell 40 plus 56, that is 96. Now what are they asking? Difference. Very easy. What is the difference here? Difference is nothing but 96 minus 82, that is 14. So the correct answer is option 3. Very easy question, no? Next one. Find the number of hats sold on Saturday by A and B together if the number of hats sold on Saturday is 7% more than the hats sold on Thursday by A and B together. See Murali, the thing is, no, in PO papers will be some questions which will be easy. You will also have difficult ones. So this particular set is also from a PO paper. You can believe that. Yes, you can. If you have so much doubt, just Google and see, no, where these questions are taken from. They do ask some easy questions also. They can't ask all tough questions, no. There will be some mark scoring questions also, some difficult ones also. And again, this is for prelims. For mains, the difficulty level will be higher. Find the number of hats sold on Saturday. Yes, if the number of hats sold on Saturday is 7% more than the hats sold on Thursday by A and B together. So on Thursday, how much is A and B selling? A and B are selling 60 plus 52. That is 112 hats are being sold by A and B on Thursday. Now on Saturday, they are selling 7% more than this, right? Now what is 7% of 112? See, what is 1% of 112? 1% of 112 is 1.12, right? So 7% of 112 is nothing but 7 point, you will have some value, right? 7 point some value. Now, you needn't even calculate the exact value. So, what will be the number of hats that will be sold on Saturday? It will be nothing but 112 plus 7 point this value. So, that is nothing but 119 point some value, or approximately 120. Directly, you can take that as the answer. Yes, 120 will be your answer. So if you find out the exact value, right, see 7% of 112, the exact value I think comes around 7.84. So you will have 112 plus 7.84, which is equal to 120 approximately. Okay, by looking at the options, see you have only 118 here. If you had an option like 119, then we might be confused, right? Or something like 121, that is not there here. So directly you can approximate and get the answer. So with this, we are coming to an end of the questions chosen for the session. Great. So I will see you in the next session, and this is Gayatri signing off. Till then, take care. Good night.